Good morning, friends. Happy Friday. My name is Laura Milligan. I'm coming to you from the Bee Spot in Canton, Ohio. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is my day 3 of going live. I am sharing sneak peeks of upcoming products from our fall mini catalog that starts next Wednesday, September 3rd, and also online exclusives that will be released on September 3rd. So I wanted to give you a little sneak peek. Today I'm making, so far this week I've made 2 fall cards. This is a 3rd fall card. And then next week I'm going to shift gears and show you some different things, not fall cards, but some different things. So if you are there, say hello. This is not my normal day or time to go live, but hopefully some of you are going to be tuning in. I know that it's a long holiday weekend, and so people probably are already headed out to do some fun things, hopefully. But I wanted to catch you and just share this live. So I am going to go ahead and share a card today. Let me go ahead and switch my camera view. So this is the branching out bundle that I'm using today. Here's the stamp set. Here are the dies, and they are great dies. They have these really great rectangular shaped frames with stitching on them, and then there's a pine cone and a sprig of berries, another little sprig. This is actually the one I'm using today, and then this really long one, which is going to be fun. I can't wait to play with that. These products, hi Carmen, hi Myra, there we go. People are signing in. Thank you for joining today. So I still am not able to show you the inside of this catalog, but I can show you the front. So this bundle that I'm using today is from the mini catalog. And like I said, it starts September 3rd. If you do not have a demonstrator and are looking for a copy of the catalog, just shoot me a message. If you would like to allow me to serve as your demonstrator, I would be happy to do that. So just let me know and I can get a catalog off to you in the mail. Let me show you what else I'm using today. So I'm using the branching out bundle. I have the Autumn Twa designer series paper, and I used this on Wednesday when I used the Amber Autumn bundle. I'm going to show you those cards that I made at the end here, but let me just show you these really quickly. So this pack of designer paper is 12 by 12. It's called Autumn Twa, and it is 4 different designs, and you get 3 sheets of each. And I had to kind of chuckle because this week Sarah Douglas, who is our CEO, she is a wonderful young woman, and she apparently was leaving work, and there was a fox running around the parking lot at Stampin' Up. And so she took a video of it, which was really cool. And it just made me think of this designer paper. So I don't know, maybe this fox lives in the neighborhood and he inspired this paper. But anyway, it was kind of cool to see that. And then this is the back side. I love these colors. And, you know, I keep saying this, but now that our weather has gotten cooler this week, it's so nice to it feels like fall, and it's so nice to start using these fall colors. So that is the Autumn Twa. So now when you see this paper, you've got to think about this fox that was running around the parking lot at Stampin' Up. I just thought that was really cool. And then the other thing I'm going to use, I used this earlier this week as well. These are the streaked dots. They're new gems. Everything pretty much is new. And then this is this really cool irregular weave trim. I used that earlier this week as well, and I'm going to use it again today. It's really fun and easy to work with. So let me get these things out of the way. And I'm starting with a very vanilla card base. I have some designer series paper. I'm using this one that has the deer. I think that's so pretty. And then I have 2 pieces of cardstock. One is pecan pie and one is early espresso. And I'm going to die cut those. And then I've already cut, very vanilla, this little thing. I think it's like a pine, at least to me it looks like a pine bough. That is this one. Hold on, let me pull this off. From this set of dies. So that was where that came from. Now I'm going to use 3 of these framed dies. Well, I'm going to create a frame with these dies. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to use these pieces of cardstock, and I'm going to bring my my die cutting machine in. Let me make some room for that. I have moved my camera down closer, so I'm not sure what kind of a view we're going to get when I do this today, but we will do our best. Hopefully it's going to be a pretty close view, but I think that'll be okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, first of all, I want to create a small frame. And so I'm going to use these 2 dies, and I'm going to cut them in pecan pie. I just want this to be a little bit narrow, just a frame, and you'll see what I'm going to do with this in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead. I have already taped these together with my like Post-it tape. I'm going to put it on this side as well, but you can see there's not a lot of space between these 2 dies, and I did that on purpose, and you will see why. I'm just going to go ahead and tack this down like that. I'm not so much worried about it slipping on my panel, but I don't want the frames to slip. I want them to stay close together, and that should be fine. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. All right, so let me bring in my platform. So I have my plate number, my base plate, which is number 1, then number 2, and then number 3. So I'm going to go ahead, and then we top that with a number 3. So I'm just going to crank this through. Oh, Colleen, safe travels. So I'm going to crank this through. And I'm going to pull this off. I'm just going to pull this off kind of quickly here. Like that. Okay. So what I end up with are 2 pieces. So I've created this frame. That's what I'm going to use for my card. And then I have this little rectangle, which I'm going to save. I'm going to stick this in my pouch with the dies. And then if I need a shape like this, it's there and ready to go. So don't throw that away. It has stitching all the way around it. And so I've created this frame. That's what I need for my card. Then I'm going to take a piece of early espresso, and this time I'm going to use the first size frame, the one that I used on this, and then I've skipped a size because I want this frame to be bigger. And so you can see there's more space going around this one. So it's going to be a bigger frame. And again, I want to tie this or tape this down so that it doesn't move. So let me get my tape going here. It really does feel like fall, Kathy, and I am so glad. I love fall. And so I'm just going to position this in place, get my tape out. I'm just sort of eyeballing it. I want it to be as evenly spaced between the 2 frames as possible. That looks pretty good. Okay, so we have that. So I'm going to put this up here and just crank this through my machine. And it's okay if it creaks and cracks. Sounds like me, right? I think some of you can relate. As we get older, we all have little creaks. All right, so I'm going to pull the adhesive off, or pull the Post-it tape off carefully, and you will see I have a wider frame. And again, I have a rectangle that I will save, and what I could do is use this on a card, put these together just like that, and that would be really pretty. So I'm going to hang on to these. I'm going to set my dies aside. And so there I have a wider frame, and you can see the difference in these two. And actually, this is kind of cute too. Look at this shape. I hadn't planned that this would look like this, but I mean, you could use this for a frame as well and put some kind of a scene in the middle. Hi, Judy. Hi, Gran. So fun to see everyone. Okay, so let me bring these pieces back in. And again, this is a card. It's going to go together pretty quickly because of the use of the dies. So I have a very vanilla thick card, or just regular card base. I guess we don't carry the thick anymore. So it's just a regular, very vanilla. I'm going to give it a nice crisp fold. And then what I'm going to do is take this skinny frame, and with little dabs of glue, I am going to attach it. I'm going to put the, you know what, I think I might have, yeah, hold on. I think I grabbed the wrong thing. Yeah, okay. I grabbed the wrong thing, but I'm going to take this and I am just going to add little dabs of glue. I don't want this to seep out at all, so I'm just putting little dots. And this is going to rest on this early espresso frame. This is pecan pie. So I'm just going to put this here and press down lightly to get that, just adjust it a little bit. That looks really good. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to take this pretty piece of Designer Series paper and add some glue. Hope you all have some fun plans for the weekend. It's going to be cool, but to me that is lovely. That is a lovely thing. So I'm going to just center this on my card front. And what I'll do next is take this take my frame and just position it over the Designer Series paper. And I want to pop this up. But doesn't that look so pretty already? I just think that's just really, really pretty. All right, so let's go ahead and put some dimensionals around this frame. I'm going to use quite a few. I'm usually a little heavy-handed when it comes to using dimensionals. I just like the look of popping things up. Hi, Anne-Marie, how are you? Okay, so let's just center this over the DSP. Make sure that's straight. Okay, so we have that. And then I have a panel. This is very vanilla, and I've cut this from the Nested Essential Dies. As you know, those are one of my favorites. And I'm just going to stamp Happiest Birthday Wishes. And I will say for this card, and this card in particular, but this stamp set, we're always looking for birthday cards and any kind of greeting cards to send to men. This is a perfect mannish card, I think. So I'm just going to stamp Happiest Birthday Wishes. I love that this is photopolymer because I can see where I'm stamping, and that gives me a pretty good shot of getting it straight, and that does look pretty good. While I have my ink out, I'm going to stamp a greeting on the inside, also from this, and it says, wishing you a day filled with many happy moments. Perfect for a man's card, correct? I mean, a woman would like it too because it's so pretty, but it's a great card, great masculine card idea. Wishing you a day filled with many happy moments. All right. So I think I'm done with my ink now, so I'm going to get that out of the way. And I am going to just adhere this right here like this. I'm going to put a dimensional under this part because that will pop that up. And this side, because it's already going to be resting on the frame that's popped up, I'm just going to put a dab of glue. So it's going to look like that, a dimensional and then just glue on the other side. And I'm going to put that about right there. I want it to hang over a little bit over that frame. And I just need to sit there with my finger for a second and hold that down. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to take this little sprig and I am going to put a mini dimensional behind this particular branch, and I'm going to put a little dab of glue on that one. Whoops, and I am going to just rest that right here, just like that. So the glue is holding this to the frame, and this is going to pop up so that it's even with the popped up frame. So we have that, and then I'm going to take this really fun trim again. And doesn't this just look all masculine to you? So masculine. Perfect for a man. So I'm going to tie this in a knot. So who would you send this card to? Who would you send this card to? I'm just curious. So I'm going to just tie a knot in this trim, and I'm going to grab my paper snips here and just trim this a bit at an angle. Looks pretty good. And I'll take my glue dots and I'll just pick up one of the glue dots for the back of the trim, and I'm just going to rest it right there. So it's looking pretty good. I think this is a really pretty card, but I want to finish it by adding a little bit of bling. And yes, even though it is kind of a masculine feel, it's okay to add some bling to a masculine card. So let me get my Take Your Pick tool. And again, these are the streaked dots. And I'm going to use, I think, one of the smaller ones. And I'm just going to put it right there. If you wanted to, you could put more, but I think I think one is enough for this card. And then I want to do something with the envelope. So I have cut a piece of the designer paper, and because you know the saying is no naked envelope. So when you send something, you want to either stamp something or add a touch up. Hi Sherry, hi Susie Q, how are you? Thank you both for joining in. So I have cut this 5 3/4 by 2 1/4. Now normally what I do when I'm doing this, I put the DSP on the flap and then I trim around. But the new thing I've been doing recently is to just leave it as a rectangle. And I think because this has so many straight lines, it works with this particular card. So I'm going to just open this up and put my adhesive around the flap. So I could do this side down, but I really love this pattern. And because it's what I used on the inside of my card, I think it's good. It pulls you in to see that idea. So I'm just going to leave this flap like this. There's still plenty of a, you'll do the same thing. You'll seal it like that. It's just it's a nice different way to do the flap, and I think it just it steps up the card. And I always say when you get a card like this, something in the mail comes and it's not hate mail we refer to as like the bills and the junk mail and all of that, but this is full of love and it'll be the first thing people open. It'll make their day, and I can't encourage you enough to make and send cards because it really does touch people's hearts when they get a card that they know you have made just for them. So yesterday I forgot to share the dimensionals with you. I did post them later on my Facebook page, but I'm going to put these here now so that you can see them. If you want to do a screenshot, if you'd like to duplicate this card, I'm just going to let this sit here for a minute while I clean up my area a bit, put my things away. But those are the measurements, and I had planned to go live on Monday, but it is a holiday and I'm not exactly sure what we're doing. So I think I'm not going to come back again till Tuesday. So I'll go live next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday's the day the catalog launches, so it might be fun to go live on that day. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you all have a great, safe, fun, long weekend. Enjoy the weekend. I want to give a shout out to my sister-in-law, Nancy. She has a birthday coming up. She was a Labor Day baby. So happy birthday, Nancy. Lots of love to you. And thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you on Tuesday. The plan would be to go live at 1 o'clock. So I will be back at 1 o'clock on Tuesday. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put my screen back down because I wanted to show you the 3 cards that I had made this week. So this was the first one that I made. It features the Amber Autumn bundle, and I did use the Autumn Trois DSP on this. I used that same trim and the same gems. And then yesterday I made this one that I called a pull-out pocket card. And this one featured the Gathering Moments bundle and lots of new product. Do you have a favorite? Which did you like the best? I kind of like all of them. I don't know that I could actually pick if I had to, but these are the 3 cards that I made this week. Let me know what you think. Do you have a favorite? I don't know what my favorite is. I actually like all 3 of them. So again, thank you so much for watching me today. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Have lots of fun. Maybe you have time to make a few cards. I'm going to be working on a few things. I know myself, I like to get up early in the morning and stamp and create. That's when my mind seems to be in the creative mode. But anyway, take care, my friends. And as always, I hope you have time to be creative today. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.